Hello, world!
Hi everyone, good morning.
The first topic we'll be talking about is the Polk versus Denegs update. Recently, they agreed to play each other after all these years of their grudge, and so this is exciting for the entire poker world. So, what they'd agreed on previously was 25,000 hand match. They're playing two tables of 200, 400, no limit. But the new information that Daniel was proposing is the match will be played on GG Poker, private play money. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so when these tweets came over, I just saw it. I'm like, kidding me? Like, if we look at the terms and conditions, like it's kind of understood, like if you're using these play money sites, you shouldn't be playing for money, PayPaling each other, etc. So I was just shocked.
I wasn't shocked because he's sponsored by
Oh,
GG, right? Like, so obviously GG is going to want
okay, yeah.
this. Well, Doug did mention in one of his tweets he would be okay with paying like a big blind fee to have someone come and witness each of them playing.
So that's kind of what I was alluding to. So having like these judges, in my opinion, Daniel should nominate someone to go to Doug's house and vice versa, right? It should be a neutral judge, or even better, how about we have a video camera set up behind the back that we can see exactly what's going on your screen, but with like a 10 or 15 minute delay, just to show or prove that there's no foul play.
And I like the idea of us as an audience being able to control the camera, what we're looking at, have multiple feeds. It'll be like Big Brother, but poker edition. So basically, they still haven't agreed. No, okay. So given that they still haven't agreed again, what do you think? And then I'm going to ask chat. What percentage do you think this grudge match will go through? I feel like it's getting less likely again.
Okay, I kind of feel the opposite because, Daniel did say all the time, Doug, not now, not now. Let me finish playing WSOP. And WSOP is fin now they're talking again, so I'm a little bit hopeful. But what is weird is that they haven't set a date still.
Stone's Casino in California ran a televised poker game. Justin Kuraitis was the tournament director at Stones, and he oversaw the production of this live stream. 80 poker players, including Veronica Brill, sued Postle, who was a poker player, Justin Kuraitis, who was the tournament director, and Stones Casino for $30 million because they believed that Mike Postle, one of the players in the game, had cheated. The newest update is that they've reached a settlement. Mac Verstanding was the lawyer for the plaintiffs. And so he was representing the poker players and particularly Veronica Brill. And he released this statement. Now, I just want to point out that Justin, this is his now Twitter picture. Like he has his profile and now he's put this statement behind. This statement was part of the settlement. Now, as you notice in the statement, he doesn't mention anything about Postle. Okay, Justin, we haven't heard about the entire time. He has been so quiet on Twitter. And he tweeted out as soon as the settlement was released. And he said, there are some things I've wanted to say for a while now. And he tweeted a bunch of people, but the stuff he wrote was pretty weird. And I'll just kind of summarize it here. So he says, I watched in utter amazement as Joey Ingram devoted hours and hours to PostleGate. But as I watched them, it became clear that Ingram was peddling false statements, cherry picking hands to fit his theories, and ignore data that did not fit his version of the story. Now, that statement right there actually shows ignorance to poker. Because the only way we can prove that someone is cheating is by cherry picking hands. Because some hands are just going to make sense if you're cheating or not cheating. Right? And then there's other ones that are obviously cheating, and that's why those hands are cherry picked.
When the story broke, that was when I was living in Hong Kong, and Joey Ingram would always, go on. He did like 6, 7, 8 hour sessions, like watching the footage, right? So even if he did cherry pick hand, he did watch the entire footage, the entire, 8 hour, 9 hour session, but then, really stop the tape at certain hands, like what you said, didn't make sense, or, that unconventional lines were taken.
I used to get accused of cheating all the time, like no matter where I was. So I hear so much about like cheating. Most of the time, I just roll my eyes because most of the time you got outplayed or you got unlucky, and it's just that's why I think when the entire community sees that this is cheating, you have to actually look because most of us were tired of hearing that you got cheated. We've heard it all before. No, you just got outplayed. Most of the time, you just got outplayed. So that was one of his points that I had a big issue with was the cherry picking hands, and so he asked if Veronica thought Postle was cheating, why did she invite him to all the games? I think that's a valid question. I do think there are possible reasons that she continued to invite him even if she thought he was cheating.
Well, wasn't it at the beginning, when she was debating whether or not to come forward again, that, Veronica went to Matt Berkey and some of his people and, invited them to Stones as well, but never told them about the thoughts that someone on the broadcast was cheating, but needed others to also witness it. That's why I think maybe she invited him back.
Postle still hasn't really spoken out, but he texted the Sacramento Bee. So he texted them. All I can really say right now is that I have my side of the entire fiasco to tell. It won't just shock the poker and gambling industry, but the entire world. It's such a mind-blowing story that it's being told to Dave Boom at 25/7 Productions, who will be producing a wild documentary for the world to see.
I'm going to be there with the popcorn, bin watching with my notebook, making notes and slides.
I think that's what we have to do. We have to watch it like it's hilarious, right? Just laugh. Maybe it's going to be like that Slumdog Millionaire. You know how every question went back to something in his past? So like every one of these crazy hands will go back to something that he learned in his past.
Maybe. I mean, what you just described would make like a kick-ass movie, like seriously, but to have like Postle as a star, I'm not sure.
I chose the tweet of the week from another poker streamer, Dog Wisdom, who I just adore. He's just such a sweet guy. But his was in response to Daniel, who, if Daniel and Doug are agreeing on something, you know it has to be 100% true. But unfortunately, we're moving on to a new cheating scandal. Not the famous Fedor. And Maureen said at the beginning of the show that apparently Fedor isn't even that popular of a name in Germany. So Fedor Kruse, his roommates took to 2+2 to say that Fedor only played MTTs and occasionally cash games and was a break-even player on NL 200. All of a sudden, he started playing more and more cash games and went straight up to the highest stakes. And he confessed to them on building and using a dream machine. Now, what this dream machine is he's got 2 computers set up. And one of them he's playing poker on. And the other one has a folder of solved hands. And it's very simple. So in the past, Maureen's explained to us that when she's using her solver and then she jumps on PokerStars, it gives her a reminder that, hey, you can't be using this while you're playing. And she's even playing play money. So they don't even let you practice playing when you're using these solvers.
Yes, exactly. And in my setup, I just have one setup at home, a second monitor, but I definitely get those warnings.
So how they've gotten around this, people that are cheating, is they've done the 2 computer models. Even though his roommates had reached out to PokerStars, they didn't ban him or anything.
We can jump into our first country update, India. So this time the news is from World Poker Tour. So they were supposed to have the World Poker Tour live game, and we announced 2 or 3 weeks ago that was canceled. So now World Poker Tour said from November 5th to November 22nd on ADA 52, that's one of the major sites in India, that they're going to have a WPT series with 135 million Indian rupee guarantee. So that's pretty good news. The WSOP is over, and then WSOP.com announced this 50th anniversary series. And to be honest, I don't know. It kind of seems like a non-event. It's just a normal series with guaranteed prize pools. So Wynn is announced that they're going to reopen their poker room on September 30th. They announced no tournament series at the moment. They'll just be concentrating on cash game. So the Venetian Resort, they're in the middle of hosting their Deep Stack Showdown. It started on September 7th, running through September 27th at the Venetian. The guaranteed prize pool was at $10,000. In the end, the final prize pool wound up being $54,940. So basically, your first place player is taking home more than the guarantee. So their next series starts October 5th to the 18th, and it has the same guarantees, the 400,000. So they're really not budging from these guarantees.
So just one last slide. Terrible news that we lost Darvin Moon. So Darvin Moon was this amateur guy. He won a $130 satellite that got him into the main event. And lo and behold, he makes it to the final table as chip leader. And as an audience, we fell in love with this guy. Darvin Moon famously turned down a 6-figure deal to wear a patch to the final table because he said, I don't even own a computer. I don't play online poker.
That's incredible.
And then he came second, which is astonishing, for $5.2 million. But we had the unfortunate news, Todd Anderson, who's the co-founder of the Heartland Poker Tour and Poker Night in America and is really good friends with Darvin Moon, announced on Twitter that Darvin Moon had surgery and it went really well, and then a complication from the surgery, likely a blood clot, caused him to pass away. One day at a time. We'll see you guys. See you guys next stream. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Twitch chat made me do it!